Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Queerness Diaries. We're back again, and I'm super excited today because I am joined, and she's going to be talking all about her fantastic book today, cousins, Nancy Genung. And you'll see on her right, a very popular guest that we've had very often recently, Joseph. So thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you for
And
having us.
yeah,
Hey,
thank you
Connor,
very
nice
much.
to meet you again.
I'm super excited to have you both here on the podcast. And Nancy, I'm really excited today because we're getting to delve into your story and also into your writing journey. I think, as I was saying to you before, having a book out there into the universe must be such an exciting time for you. And to have, the reviews I've seen coming in on like Goodreads and stuff, so many amazing reviews. So how does it feel to have your first book out there in the world?
For a lack of words, it is awesome because I never in a million years thought I would be writing a book. It just kind of came to me. I wrote things down, left it alone, came back. So having it completed and actually like people that actually liked it
Yeah,
feels awesome. Totally awesome. Like
yeah,
I did something.
yeah. It's amazing as well, isn't it? How the power of storytelling can reach and connect with so many different people around the world, and it must be such uh amazing feeling to have it out there as well when you've gone through like the writing process. And I know, when it comes to writing, like from coming up with characters to knowing how many chapters and all these different moving parts of a book, like it takes a lot of work and courage to do. So I think to have it out there, it's got to be such a proud feeling.
It really is. It really is. I mean, when I was actually writing it, I was telling Joe, it like took me out of reality
Yeah.
temporarily. It's like just put me somewhere else, and I was just typing away these, thoughts that I had and ideas. And for the time being, when I was doing it, it just kind of makes you feel like you're playing a character, in the book.
Yeah.
You're like part of them. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's so exciting as well to bring these sort of characters to life. And I always say people, take on once they read something like a book, their own versions and different parts of each character and bring them to life in their own ways. So it's got to be so exciting as a writer to do that. But before we get into the book, I want to delve into your personal story as well and kind of go into all these chapters of your diary. So just so people can kind of get to know you a bit first of all. So where are you based? And yeah, if we can have like a little background introduction to you.
Sure. I am in New Jersey. And the town that I grew up in was 98% Italian when I was going through school, grammar school, high school, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So a lot of these ideas that I put in the book, and they're not all of them, because I want to stress that, because my
Yeah.
friends are going to see this and say, I did not tell you that. So,
Yeah.
it just was the Italian heritage that attracted me. How close everybody was, how they took care of their families, and
Yeah.
the meals that they had. It just, I thought was a whole, because I am not Italian. Well, actually, I maybe 5%, I think I read.
Yeah.
So, but I live in the town, so it kind of osmosed into my system.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I know for a lot of listeners, like over here in Europe and the UK, like we have a bit of like glimpses through a lot of reality shows, but I think a lot of the book was kind of inspired as well, wasn't it, by sort of The Sopranos and a lot of shows which are very popular in the US.
Now, I didn't go anywhere near the New Jersey housewife stuff, so that stuff is not in the book. I did go more towards Sopranos.
Yeah, yeah,
I
I
just tell
definitely am
you,
gonna have to check out that show, as I was saying before. I think it's there's so many shows that I definitely need to watch, to be honest. But in terms of sort of your own story, so in terms of growing up, so you say you grow up in this. So how far is it from like the Big Apple, New York? Is it about an hour more or less?
or less than an hour. We're probably 40 minutes. Traffic, of course, is going to take you 6 hours to get there.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
feels that way.
It has in the past for me at least.
Yeah.
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 So I would say on the average, it's about 40 minutes away. I'm in Morris County, New Jersey, which is
Ah, yes,
northern Jersey.
yeah.
So we have a little bit of snow out there right now, which I'm not happy about, but we have it.
So yeah, so you said as well, you grew up in kind of a small town, 98% Italian. So how was that sort of experience growing up for you? And had you always sort of had those sort of ideas to write? Did you sort of journal and make diaries, or is it something that have always been passionate about?
Not at all. I had no idea I
Yeah.
was going to do this. I didn't write any notes down. I didn't take any journals growing up. No, not in the not at all.
Yeah.
The way I got to this point was, I don't know, it's kind of strange to say, but I was having just these flashing thoughts and
Yeah.
like little skits. And then I would think about it, and then my mind would just go further with it. And I just jot it down, and then jot
Yeah.
another one down. And then I left it alone. Left it alone for a long time. And because nothing was really coming to me. So I think, I was just fooling around.
Yeah.
And then I decided to really get into it. And that's when I, really sat down, concentrated a little bit more, made time to do it. And it just flowed. It just flowed. I got a little bit, growing up in the town that I grew up in, like I said, it is 98% Italian. My immediate next door neighbors were Italian. So my best friends growing up, I'd see the pasta on Sunday, having the gravy and having this, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd go home and we'd have a meatloaf. We'd have nothing.
Oh,
She was a great cook, but it was just different. And it was like, oh, I think I want to go have dinner over there instead of having it myself.
Oh, that sounds like such a great way to grow up, though. Like meatloaf, it just sounds so good. But it sounds like as well, you've got, and it comes through, in terms of writing with the book, that sort of idea of, this Italian families and bringing together with the love of food. I think it's always such a fantastic way to bring families together, isn't it? It's like if you can unite people with food, then you've got the way to their heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the Italian trait, that you go to visit them, they're going to feed you till you're stuffed. If they come to visit you, they're bringing their stuff with them.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Being Italian, no, they really don't.
Yeah,
and then you'd be prepared to, when you go to someone's house, to bring home like 40 things of plastic Tupperware of pasta and meatballs, because
it's coming home.
It's coming.
Yeah, some good hearty food. It's always the best, especially in the winter with the cold weather. But I think it's great as well, like you were saying, when you've got the ideas and inspiration to sort of write things down, and even if you didn't know at the time that you were going to turn it into a book, it's incredible, isn't it? How different ideas that we have can take on a life of their own, and what we can do with them when we put our mind to it.
For sure. And a couple of them, I would even have like a dream and wake up and say, oh, I got to write this one down. So that one, every once in a while, for the dreams that would pop into my brain, I would definitely like write something down, an explosion, something, you know what I mean? And add that to the book somehow, some way.
Yeah. I think, for anyone out there that's in sort of the creative world, when you've got that sort of passion and idea, that's such a rewarding process when you bring it to life. And so if you look sort of at your own personal story and trajectory, so in terms of sort of growing up so you grow up in, a small town and not too far away from New York, but it's kind of a different world at the same time. It's like a lot of these places in the UK, you go just outside the city and you're suddenly in nothing but sheep and farmland. But how was it, sort of that experience growing up, and sort of after that, what did you sort of do for in your own personal life? Had you always been like interested in the creative world?
Again, no.
Yeah.
I was always a people pleaser and wanting to help people. So when I was, a few years back, I was on the first aid squad in town, became part of the police department in town. stuff like that. So I was always wanting to help people all my
Yeah.
life. And animals were my key thing. I
Yeah.
love dogs, cats, I love birds, you name it.
Yeah.
No, my true love is animals. But I
Yeah.
also want to help people along the way. When I
Yeah.
was growing up, anyway. Now they can fend for themselves now.
Yeah, I'm the same, you know, when I'm happiest when I'm surrounded by all my cats, although they're better fed than me sometimes. They're so spoiled. But I think that's great, isn't it? When you got that sort of, especially as well, I imagine in a time when you build that sense of community as well, like getting to help people and build that community building is so important for a lot of us and having that connection. And
Yeah.
I think as well that helps when you're sort of creating characters and bringing it to life because you get to meet, I imagine, so many different characters and walks of life.
Oh,
And
for sure. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it's
Amazing.
yeah, and I think, you know, that's incredible when it comes to writing because it makes it a lot more exciting to come up with all these different characters because you can sort of base it on maybe the versions of different people you met to create one character, but it's like it might be just different personality traits of some kooky people that you've met along the way.
Oh, for sure. There is a part of the book where it came from real life where Christopher, who was the main character in the book,
Yeah,
um he drove, I don't remember what exact make and model the car was, but one of those high-end cars.
yeah,
And he had a sunroof and somebody
yeah,
was mad at him. So they broke the sunroof and
yeah.
they poured a bucket of crap into the interior and destroyed every inch of the interior
Oh
of the
no.
car. That was a true story. I know for a fact.
Really? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's always great, isn't it, when you can pull bits of like true things, some of these crazy things that have happened in life. And sometimes people will read a book and not believe that these things could be true, but it's like in life, sometimes some really crazy stuff happens.
Reality is crazier than anything else, I think. Fiction.
Yeah, for sure. And so when we talk about your book, cousin, so how would you describe it for people? So you say it's kind of, you know, got inklings of 50 Shades of Grey, bits of The Sopranos. If someone's stumbling across it for the first time, how would you describe it to them?
How would I describe it? It's about family.
Hmm.
How that's really the core of the book is about how the Italian family stays together, rallies
Yeah,
around each other, helps each other.
yeah,
But then there's bits where, of course, they get in arguments, and some Italians, I don't want to put this out as all, some can have that family problem where they have
yeah.
an argument with one person in the family, and then the rest of the family is not allowed to talk to each other. So the cousins can't
Hmm.
talk, that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so that was part of the process of making the Italians not only the mob side and
yeah,
but also the core of the goodness that they are.
yeah.
So yeah, that's really where I was coming from when I started the book.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, when it comes to family dynamics, you know, on some level, we can all relate. Everyone has, you know, either that cousin or that auntie that there's some drama with, whether it's at a holiday
Absolutely.
party or whatever it is. And then sometimes the whole one side of the family is not talking and then they're good. And especially when you've got a big
Exactly.
family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly it. And then then no one's allowed to talk to anybody. And if you get caught talking to that person, everybody gets mad at you.
Forget about
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, 100%. And how was it for you sort of bringing those characters to life? Did you have, like you were saying before, so you had sort of these ideas, but how did you sort of, you know, get those ideas together and be like, okay, these are my main characters that are going to be sort of the protagonists for the story?
Mhm. I'm not the typical writer. Like
Mhm.
I said, I didn't plan on doing this.
Yeah.
So when I sat down at the computer whatever thoughts I was having at the time, I would take that story and just
Mm.
build up on it. So
Yeah.
it's not like I had an outline, like probably most writers may have an outline how it's going to start, middle, and end. I
Yeah.
did not. I just went with the flow. I just kept on going, and I would take this character over here, take that character over there, bring them
Yeah.
back together, so on and so forth. So that's, I
Yeah.
didn't really have a plan. I didn't like sit down and do an outline or do any of that. That probably a
Yeah.
lot of writers out there too, but it's a first for me.
Mm.
So maybe in the second book I'll do that.
Yeah, but I think as well at the same time, being able to sort of do it in that unplanned way and not feel, that pressure of like, okay, because sometimes when you've got that pressure, and a lot of us tend to do this, we put it on ourselves, and if we feel like the pressure, like I've got to do this by this stage and I've got to follow this plan, it doesn't always feel like authentic to you, does it? And sometimes it can lose you from the motivation when you feel that pressure. So I think being able to do it with your own process and find a way that you enjoyed it was a lot more fulfilling.
Definitely, definitely. Because if I did have a deadline, or if I did have this, I'm the type of person that probably would not have gotten it done.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of us can relate to that. And how was so when we talk about the process, how long did it take you to sort of get everything together and then be like, okay, this is it. I'm, ready
Right.
to launch this to the world. And how was that sort of process for you?
The process was long because, as I said, I was just taking these different ideas, jotting them down, and then nothing came to me, so I didn't even think about it. So I
Yeah.
thought at first, well, maybe I'm not going to write a book. I'm gonna just have fun with it.
Yeah.
So from start to finish, it was probably a good 7 years from
Yeah.
start to finish. But again, there were probably 2 or 3 years in there that I didn't even think about it. Never know, I didn't have any ideas, and then it would come back to me. I was like, oh yeah, I think about that, and then I'd go back and write a few things down, and so it was a long time. But once we started going, and I knew it was really going in the right direction, then I had to figure out how to end it. I could have went on forever, so I had to figure out how to end it.
Yeah, I imagine that's one of the difficult things as an author, like knowing when to end it. But I think as well, it always leaves it open to a second part. So I imagine, a lot of people finding this and getting really invested in these characters' stories. And so I'm guessing now that you'll have a second part to this to follow up with, right?
Well, I have been having a lot of people ask me to continue.
Yeah.
Not just one or
Myself
two.
included, by the way.
Yeah.
So over the holidays, I just recently started, but I also did the same process. I had a few ideas, I put it down, and I probably haven't been back there yet. So
Yeah.
I do want to do my second book much sooner than 7 years. So now that I know the process,
Yeah.
I'll probably be on it a little bit more and make sure I set some time aside to do it. Now that I know the process. Otherwise, before I was just winging it, just going with the flow.
And
But
she has a cheerleading squad behind her too this time, even
Yes,
more
they
so.
do. Yeah.
yeah, I imagine.
That's right,
And
for Kennedy,
Yeah.
her publicist, her
Yeah.
social media manager,
Yeah.
asking her all these questions for social media to get her motivated.
He's the best with that stuff. I got to tell you, because I getting me on camera is a chore to begin with, and then to have you sit there, so he's very good with that. I got to say.
Fun though. I mean, I think
We're friends. We're not just
we
clients.
go out to dinner now with our partners and
Yeah.
just go hang out, and being with her is just like an old friend, just having a cup of iced tea or a bottle of
Yeah.
wine, or just BSing before we actually do the work for her to be able to promote her work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm aiming for now. Just get a little more book promotion going on.
Yeah.
So thank you.
No, it's fantastic to have you. And how did it feel when that first day getting the book out there into the world and being like, oh wow, this is out there. How was it sort of telling, friends, everyone, like, hey, I've got a book out there. Check it out. It's out there in the universe.
Well, here's the secret. I didn't tell anybody I was doing this. Not even Nobody. I didn't tell my
Yeah.
sister. I didn't tell my family. I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want to hear, "Well, are you going to finish it? I want to see what you did. Are you going to finish?"
Yeah, yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
didn't tell anybody. And then when I was almost to the end, I started to tell a couple people. I said, "Do you want to read it? What do you want to read this just to tell me what you think of it?"
Yeah.
With a couple of them read and says, "Oh my God, Nancy, you got to keep going." So
Yeah.
I did. And when it was all done, I don't think it hit me until after I heard some of the feedback, from my friends and people I didn't know. And be
Yeah.
like, "This is awesome. This should be
Yeah.
on TV. It's a little series." I was like, "That's a great
Yeah.
idea. Can you get it to the right people?"
Yeah.
Trying.
Yeah, because it's quite nerve-wracking, isn't it? When you've got like a piece of art, whether it's a book or whatever you're putting out into the world, and suddenly, you've had it for so long to yourself, and then suddenly it's in everyone's hands, and
Yeah.
that process, although you think, okay, it's finished, I'm done. There's still a nerve-wracking feeling sometimes when you put something out into the universe.
Absolutely. And then when I did tell my friends, they were all so supportive. They had a little book
Oh,
signing,
yeah.
so I had all these people come. It was pretty cool. So, thank God for friends.
Yeah, definitely. And like I was saying before, I've seen, you've had so many incredible reviews as well. So it's touching a lot of people being able to relate. And that's the great thing, with the power of our writing and words, the ability to connect with people all over. And so I imagine, it must be such an incredible feeling having it out there. And then when you tune in and you see all these reviews coming in now.
It's so fun. I
Yeah.
mean, the word fun, it was so fun to go on and say, "Oh my God, I got it. This person really liked it. This person.
Yeah, yeah,
So, it's really awesome. It really is to see some of the results of your hard work come back with just "Hey, it was a pretty good book. Try it out." That's awesome.
yeah, definitely. And I wanted to talk as well a bit. I know you guys touched on it with your relationship and sort of using social media now to promote the book. So, how did you guys first meet, and how has it been sort of using social media? So, because I think for a lot of people out there, when I've got a piece of art, for example, coming up with a book, whatever it is, and they are sort of putting it out there on social media, starting to promote it for the first time. That, of course, is a process as well. And how has it sort of been, sort of the process, from Instagram, different social media platforms, getting in touch with that sort of market inside with the book as well?
Well, I was doing it on my own, and my friends all bought it.
Hmm.
The sales went,
Hmm.
oh, so I put a little blurb out on Facebook, and I said, "Listen, does
Yeah.
anybody know social media better than I do? I'm not that great on social media." So
Yeah.
we actually had a mutual friend that
Yeah.
gave me his number and his name, contacted him, and away we went.
Yeah, and then and the rest is to say is history, but of course there is a lot more to it. Yeah, so this mutual friend is actually best friends with my partner's mother. So we're connected, this
Mm.
woman's connected, we connected. I was just thinking about this as you were saying this, Connor. We had a great first meeting at
Yeah.
Starbucks in
Yeah.
Florham Park.
Yeah. And then he
Yeah.
made me go on video, and I was like, and
Yeah, I said, all right, well, hope you're prepared because I'm going to be a hard ass. And she said, okay. She literally shrugged her shoulders. We went to the
Yeah.
park around the corner. I said, we're getting on camera now. I don't care. We're going to start this and start the process. And that was
Yeah.
really just for Instagram, but we've branched out really since then
Yeah.
too,
yeah,
including Blue Sky now.
yeah.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I
yeah,
leave that up to him.
that's what I do. I say, all right, we're on this platform now. Okay, we're doing a podcast now.
Yeah.
Okay, and expanding because you have to build that foundation first. No matter if
Yeah,
you're an author,
definitely.
creative, artist, politician, you have to get on one of the platforms first in order to build organically. And that's what I specialize in, is getting
Yeah.
to the root of the persona. Who is Nancy? Who is she
Yeah.
as an author? She's a hometown hero, but then
Yeah.
building that from there
Yeah.
and really gaining that traction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I did see as well, like on Facebook and Instagram, you have some of those reels as well now. And I saw some ones you did over the holidays, and I thought Yeah, they're such a
There'll be more of
fantastic way,
those
isn't
too.
it, to connect? But it's so exciting though to have it out there and to connect with, people with writing and social media and have, that platform to reach audiences all over. And what would you say are the best places for people to find you on social media? So in terms of Instagram, Facebook, where would be the best place to get in contact if someone has any questions about the book? And there's usually you'll probably get some fan mail at some point and people will reach out.
That was really
That's
nice.
what we're looking for. Yeah, this is the beginning.
So I'm thinking Facebook, because that's where I started and that's where the foundation basically is.
Yeah.
But also Instagram
Yeah.
has been growing organically, even with throughout all the changes to all the
Yeah.
platforms. We didn't hit TikTok. That's not really the best audience right now because it's a little bit of a wild west. But
Yeah.
also Blue Sky is, a decentralized platform where you can really grow the persona and grow your community of readers and authors on that platform as well. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I think as well, the great thing is through social media, once one person recommends it, then it can so easily come across, another family member or friend, and then they recommend it. And then before you know it, you've got, people all over from, you just wake up with random inboxes from all over the world.
That's exactly what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
And it's been happening all, but if you and I would like to, of course, commend Nancy publicly. She's grown a lot, from, oh my gosh, I'm getting on camera at the park in the middle of summertime. We're both sweating profusely. You don't know because
Yeah.
we just met, but I was like, well, if we're doing this, then we have to jump in, into the deep end.
I'm like, what do I have to do?
Yeah.
When's happening
Yeah.
now? Wait.
And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I should go have a drink real quick and come
right.
there.
I should have brought a flask, have a little bit of a mix, a quick
Yeah.
courage. Literally, right? But I know that she's having fun with it now.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
though we meet every week and we storyboard and we think about the next growth of the persona and how to reach a wider audience, that up into includes podcasts and appearances. Now that we've been together over about 6 months, it's all about having fun and really telling a story based off of a story, based
Yeah,
off of somebody's
100%.
dream. And that's where Nancy really has come into her own, I believe. And I've seen it not only through the numbers, but organically and also knowing her for over 6 months. So
I got to give him all the credit though,
Oh,
because
stop.
I'm not. I'm kind of shy person. I mean, I'm social, but
Yeah.
to get me to come out of my shell and to be, hey, this is me.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
him, not me.
and I coach, but I also want to make sure that I get to the root of what I see offline and off social media, just out for
Yeah.
dinner. I know who Nancy is. I just have
Yeah.
to
Pull it out of
extract
me.
that from her, and we bounce ideas off each other too.
Yeah.
Making sure that
Yeah,
she's happy
100%.
in how she's presented.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that really comes across, from those videos and reels on social media. And it's such a great way to get your personality out there for the world to see. And for people as well who are looking to buy the book, where would you say are the best platforms that a reader can? Nice. I love the cover, by the way. It looks amazing.
Well,
And
thank you.
People cover, right?
yeah, it's really awesome, the cover. I love it. And where would you say are the best places for people looking to buy the book to find it in the US? I know in the UK we always have like Amazon and a lot of the places. And for the US, where would you say is the best place for people looking to buy the book?
It is Amazon right now.
Yeah.
You can get it other places. I know I saw it in Barnes and Noble, but online. The book
Yeah.
isn't actually in.
It's available as a Nook.
Yeah.
I was looking the other
Yeah.
day. It is also on Barnes and Noble.
Yeah. So, but the main place that I have it right now is Amazon.
Yeah. Awesome.
It was easy. It was something I never did this before, so it was easy, and that's where it is.
Nice. I shall make sure I attach the link for everyone tuning into the podcast. And so I wanted to, yeah, I wanted to thank you so much, Nancy, because I know this has been your first podcast, but it's been such a delight to have you on, and it's always fantastic to have you as well, Joe. So thank you so much for choosing me as well to come on your first podcast with.
And I appreciate you. So thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been
It
such a
really is about building community and just assuring everybody knows each other and
Yeah.
follows each other and supports, because that's how we have to do this going forward, especially for us creatives, and it's really important. So this has
Yeah.
been amazing, and I'm so proud of this one over here.
Thank you.
So
Yeah. Yeah,
but
I
there's
think
still more work to be done, because we're gonna be recording some content. Speaking of, once we sign off, I'm gonna do a whole reel with her
Great.
to then
awesome.
promote you, and then we're gonna just keep on going. Just keep on fighting the good fight and selling some books.
Yeah, I think that's amazing as well. As well, it's going to be the first of many books, I imagine. You know, you're going to have a whole series out there and many novels for the world to tune into.
I hope so. It'll be fun.
Yeah, so I wanted to again thank you so much, both of you, for joining me. So for everyone tuning in, I shall attach the link in my bio below, and also for Nancy's social media. So make sure you click those links. And to all my viewers, thank you so much for tuning into the Queerness Diaries, and we'll be back next week.